You know that friend you kept around for way too long, even though they were a terrible person? You can thank As Told by Ginger for that. As Told by Ginger is a tragedy disguised as a coming-of-age cartoon. It teaches girls to settle for less in friendships, relationships, and life in general. Now, I know, we all loved As Told by Ginger growing up. I still love it, but hear me out. Now, the show is about friendship and coming of age, but the real message, intentional or not, is that you should always stick with the familiar no matter how toxic it is. I think it teaches girls to stay in friendships and relationships that are way past their expiration date. Let's talk about Dodie and Macie, her friends. They weren't loyal friends, they were just codependent. They weren't friends with Ginger, they needed Ginger, especially Dodie. Dodie betrayed Ginger multiple times. Like when she told Miranda about Ginger's leg hair, or when she announced over the intercom that Ginger's mom was checking for lice, and many other moments. And of course the worst offense was when Dodie and Macie tried to break up Darren and Ginger. Ginger was well liked, she was friends with Courtney, she was well adjusted, she had a good relationship with her mother, and I think Dodie and Macie saw that in her. And I think a bigger thing is that Ginger could survive and thrive on her own without Dodie and Macie, but Dodie and Macie could not live without Ginger. Not only is Ginger well liked and friends with Courtney, but she also thrives in the popular crowd. Like, socially, she is fine without Dodie and Macie. But Dodie and Macie, however, are not fine without Ginger. Without Ginger, they're less relevant. And in the end, Ginger chooses Dodie and Macie every single time. And I think that's the problem. I think Dodie and Macie are holding Ginger back. And it's not even just her friends. Of course, we have to talk about Darren. The second that his headgear and braces were taking off, he left the friend group. And I understand, with the braces and the headgear, he's never really gotten that kind of attention, especially from girls. And just like Dodie, Darren, the second that he got an ounce of popularity, he completely abandoned them. And in the same episode that he got his headgear taken off, he starts dating Miranda. You know, Ginger's bully? I feel like we all talk about Darren cheating on Ginger, and I'll get to that later, but the fact that he dated Miranda, the girl that he knows bullies Ginger, that huge red flag. He literally hates Ginger and Dodie and Macie. He hates them. I feel like he was only friends with them because they were the only girls, the only people who would really hang out with him. And the second that he became just a little popular, he completely left. And of course, he cheated on Ginger. Like, that's kind of a big deal. And for some reason, in the end, they end up getting married. I mean, it's no wonder that so many girls on this app make these videos about how terrible their boyfriends are, or how they caught their boyfriend cheating, but they never leave them. If this is what we grew up watching, it's no wonder. Even in the theme song goes, "The grass is much greener on the other side," which kind of implies like, oh, it might look like people over there are having a better life, but you should just stay with your life. You should not change. You should not aspire for anything better, because sure, it might look better over there, but it has its problems. And I haven't even mentioned how Courtney is a much better friend to Ginger than Dodie, Macie, and Darren ever were. Her entire friend group tries to sabotage her, and they succeed in the end. She's still friends with them in that final episode, if I'm remembering correctly. She gets married to Darren, which is kind of hinted at, I think. She's like, what is the lesson here? That ending was not a happy ending like they tried to make us believe. It is a sad, tragic ending. Even when she gets older, she is still friends with the same people who tried to sabotage her all throughout middle school and high school. She is still with the guy who cheated on her and just treated her badly in general throughout the whole show. The whole show is trying to teach girls to just stick with the people they know, stick with the friends that they've known for years, stick with the guy that they've dated, even if it's on and off. Never make new friends. She could have been really good friends with Courtney. Her and Courtney have such a good and healthy relationship, but no, that would be new. That would be a change. That would change the friendship dynamic, and that would be bad. Ginger could have ended up with Orion or Orion, But no, she has to stay with Darren because Darren has been her friend for years. No matter how badly he's treated her, no matter that he cheated, it doesn't matter because they have been friends for years. I really want to talk more about this, about Courtney, about Miranda, Darren, Dodie especially. I want to talk more about this, but what do you guys think? Do you think that As Told by Ginger was actually a cautionary tale? Do you think that the ending was actually tragic? Was there anything that I missed? Was there anything that Dodie did that I missed? Like, let me know your thoughts.